This is the Black TV Show podcast hosted by Miriam Temeskin. Welcome back to the podcast. Today we will be talking about dorm rooms in this episode 81, A Different World Season 1, Episode 4, Those Who Can't Tutor. This episode aired October 22nd, 1987. This also, I believe, aired at the same time as the Cosby Show episode, but I didn't write it down. As I said, these episodes came out the same day on Thursday nights, prime time. So the synopsis for this episode is Whitley's reputation suffers when Dwayne is caught climbing out of her window. And this is the first time we will be seeing Daryl Bell as Ron Johnson and Sinbad as Coach Walter Oakes. Not so much of Daryl as Ron. He has like such a small part in this episode, but at least with Sinbad, we will see a big part of him in this episode. They are still considered recurring cast, so they're not part of the main cast, which is pretty sad because they become the main cast. And also like the fact that Dwayne, like Kadeem, is the only male main cast, which is weird to me, but whatever. So everyone's dancing at the pit, and it's just like weird to see that because it's like in the future seasons, like during the normal hours, there's not much dancing. Like, of course, when they do like events, of course there are dancing in the future episodes, but it's weird to me. So Dwayne's talking Gloria basically away. She just like is done with him. So Maggie comes out of nowhere with a tape recorder to ask him about dorm rules. Do you like them? Do you not like them? And he's like, no, I don't like them. They don't allow us to party. Like, we're grown-ups. I agree with him, okay? Like, the reason why you're at college is because you're, like, away from your parents, first of all. And the fact that this is the time for you to learn your own lessons about if you go to bed late, you know? And I feel like a lot of people do stay up late, study, and all that stuff. So it's very strange to me that they have dorm rooms. So I agree with what Dwayne said. And then Maggie goes to Whitley and asks, like, what about the dorm rules? And she agrees with them. She's like, yeah, that we need them. And Whitley doesn't know better, okay? But this will come back to get her, this whole statement that she says, all the things that you, she was like saying, like, all the things that you do outside could be done before curfew, basically. So, but this is going to come back, as I said, to bite her in the butt. And then Denise comes in, so Maggie tries to ask her, and Denise doesn't care. And then Jaleesa says she's glad that they locked the door at midnight. She honestly doesn't care. And then Denise, we can tell she's sad. And the reason why she's sad is she got a D on her calculus test. Is this deja vu? Because didn't we had a whole episode on the Cosby Show called Denise Got a D? I don't know. This is like deja vu to me. But I don't remember. I now can't even remember what paper she got a D on. Was it like some English paper? It was either English or history, so it wasn't calculus. But Dwayne tells Denise, like, no need to be sad. I can help you. I'm the king of calculus. Jaleesa was like, you're not the king of calculus. What? I'm like, I was so confused when they're talking about this. I understand we don't establish Dwayne as having a major, but spoiler alert if you've never seen the show, he is an engineer major. He will eventually actually be teaching freshman calculus to the freshman class of, I think, is it 91? So he is the king of calculus, okay? He knows it inwards, backwards. Throughout the series, he will be doing math tutoring to other people. So it's just weird to me that they're like acting like this, like as if he doesn't know the stuff, but he does. Maybe he just never told anyone what his major is. And also there's like the first episode of season 2 is all about math, basically, for Dwayne's storyline. So it's just like, this is just weird to me. So Whitley is just being annoying and, just being herself. She's bothering Denise, and Denise is just like, I don't really care. And it's weird to see Whitley like this because it's like, it looks like Whitley just has no friends in this season, and she just bothers everyone, and it's weird because like when we get to later seasons, she's like the cool person, you know what I mean? Because I say that she is the definition of bad and bougie, so it's like weird to see her character like this. Yeah, the writers and the creative people of this season were not really great to her character. I think this is like a couple days later, and we're at the dorm room, and Maggie comes in to see Jaleesa, and this is in their actual dorm room, and it's her article being printed that was printed in the newspaper about the dorm rules. And so Jaleesa reads the paper, and you could tell that this whole conversation in the dorm rooms is a storyline for something is about to happen. You can tell just by the way that they constantly are talking about dorm rooms. And so then Denise comes into the room and says, you guys, I got a calculus tutor, so no more D's for calculus, you know? And so so it's like later in the evening because the tutor is coming in the evening. And Dwayne comes, and this is in the study room. It looks like they have and the room looks like a mini, like when I went to university in the library, there was like these rooms where you could book them, and it's very nice, quiet, private ones, and you could talk as loud as you want. But they literally have this in their dorm room, so it's pretty cool. I would love this in my dorm room. And first of all, she sees Dwayne and says, like, my tutor's supposed to be coming right now. And Dwayne is like, I am your tutor. And she doesn't believe him. He's smart in math, guys. He's going to be an engineering major, and he's going to be teaching freshman calculus. So I don't know. So Denise asks Dwayne if he knows what a hyperbole is and what it means. And so he explains it, and if you watch the episode, you can hear him explain it. I actually just Googled it. So hyperbole is an open curve with two branches, the intersection of a plane with both halves of a double cone. The plane does not have to be parallel to the axis of the cone. The hyperbole will be symmetrical in any case. So that's what it is. I don't know what that means when I explain that to you guys right now, but I know what it meant when I actually studied it in school. You know, it's been years since I've learned calculus, so it's kind of gone away, you know? And I probably have mentioned on another podcast that I did I guess you call it freshman calculus, the first year of calculus in high school, because they provided at my high school a program where the math teacher, like if you finish your grade 12 math in grade 11, you're able to take this calculus course in grade 12, and it's better that way because this math teacher cares about every single student, unlike being in a university where the prof don't really care about you unless you go to them and be like, I need help on this. So it was a great thing, and I got an A on it, so I was happy. And so they start studying, and hours have gone by, and it's going so well. Dwayne had great analogies to each problem that they were working on, so she was able to study really well. And all of a sudden, Denise said that she misjudged Dwayne, and all of a sudden she noticed that it's 1:30 p.m., 1:30 a.m., and so that means they miss curfew. And they're locking the dorm. And Dwayne was like, oh, that's okay. Because, he likes being with all the girls, basically, right? Because he's girl crazy. And Denise says, you can't be here, or else that'll be suspension, or is it academic probation? I think that's what she said. And so Dwayne says, let's think about a fire escape. But they find out that the fire escape is in Whitley's room. And at first he's like, oh no. But then he's like, I can do it. So Dwayne sneaks into Whitley's room, and she is sleeping with her sound effects, or I don't even know what you call it, noisemakers, with her eyes covered with what's it called? What do you call it? I don't know what it's called, but you know how you could close your eyes? And all of a sudden it seems like she's having a nightmare. Dwayne tries to put the noise louder, but it's making it worse. And so he just quickly sneaks out, and all of a sudden she wakes up from her nightmare. And so we cut to Stevie's room, and Stevie's still awake at 1:30 in the morning. Why is that? Why is she even awake? This is very strange. I think this is like a weekday also. And so jumps Dwayne jumps down to the ground level and Stevie sees him. And first of all, I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, Whitley's room is on the left side of this set that they're shooting it. And he jumped out from the back side. How the heck is Stevie's window on that side? Because when we look at the set, in her room, her window is on the right side of the building. How the heck are they connected? Did you guys notice that? How the heck are they connected? I don't know if this is a continuity error, because they did this as a convenient, but it just didn't make sense to me. I was like, what? Like, it would make sense if it was like the back window. So this is just very strange to me. And so Stevie catches him. And so it's later on, and we meet Walter for the first time. And he's not happy, that Dwayne got caught. And Stevie explains that he was in Whitley's room. And all of a sudden, Walter is like proud of him because he thinks that, I guess he slept with Whitley. But that was not the case. And Stevie says there will be a hearing tomorrow. And Walter says it will be here. And so they leave. And so then we cut to Whitley's room and she's awake. Why is that the case? Why didn't she go back to bed? This made it even worse that like something actually did happen. The fact that she's still awake. So Stevie talks to Whitley, and Stevie tells Whitley that Dwayne came out of her room, and Whitley was like, "That didn't happen. He was never here." And so then we cut to the next day, and Maggie and Jaleesa and the other girls, Gloria and Allison, they are talking about what happened last night, and they're like all shocked, like, oh, the fact that she said that, people should follow the curfew, yet she didn't follow the curfew herself. And so Denise comes, and the two girls, Allison and Gloria, leave. And Denise says, oh, did you hear the good news? And they were like, yeah, we heard the good news. And she's like, oh, you heard I got a B on the calculus test? And they were like, no, that wasn't what we were talking about, but congratulations. And then they were like, no, we're talking about Dwayne and Whitley. Dwayne left Whitley's room last night, and all of a sudden Denise feels so bad because that wasn't the case. He was with her studying for her calculus test. And so Dwayne comes, and all the guides are praising him. They're happy that this happened because, when this happens, it's for a guy, it's a good thing. It's, they get all the attention, all that stuff. But when it comes to the women, it's not. And this is such a sexist thing to happen. And it's the worst thing to happen to a woman, especially because the shame that they get from this is not great. And the fact that Whitley didn't do anything in this whole situation. So Whitley comes and she feels embarrassed. By the way, the music during the way she walked in, was amazing. And guess who sang that song? It was Stevie Wonder. And of course, we will play that at the end of this podcast. But it was just nice the way she just walked down to the music of Stevie Wonder. Whitley tells Dwayne to tell the truth, and he's like, I already told the truth. I can't, it's not a lie that I didn't leave your room, because that is true. He did leave her room, but the part that he should have said is that I never did anything with Whitley. I just passed by the room, but he doesn't say that part. So then Whitley slaps him real hard. And he's just like in pain, and she leaves. And Denise was like, "You can't be doing this. You need to tell the truth." And Dwayne points out, "Then you're gonna be suspended." And so we're at the hearing at 7:00 at night, and Jaleesa's there because the door monitor has to be there. So there's Walter, Dwayne, and Stevie. Whitley is late. And so she comes and she's like, I'm sorry for being late. And so Dwayne explains what happened. Whitley points out that nothing happened. And then Dwayne says nothing happened. He just came by from the library. And all of a sudden, Denise jumps in and says that, she interrupts the hearing and says she has to tell the truth. Dwayne was studying with me to study for my calculus test, and we didn't realize the time, and so he had to sneak out of Whitley's room, and Stevie felt so bad, and she had to apologize to Whitley, and Jaleesa was like, oh, okay, and like, that makes sense, because Denise got a B on her test, so she isn't lying. She did a way better job on her calculus test. And so Stevie apologized to Whitley, and Whitley was like, all I want is a public apology, because everyone knows what's going on, you know what I mean? And I agree with Whitley on this, that she needs a public apology that this never happened, because her reputation will go down. Well, she doesn't really have much of a reputation, because no one really likes her at this point. But yeah, and so the episode ends right there, and so the guest stars that we've had are repeated ones. So we have BB Smith as Gloria, Kim Waynes as Allison, Don Reed as Chip St. Charles, and then of course we had Daryl Bell as Ron Johnson and Sinbad as Coach Walter Oakes. But I consider them as main cast because they will become main cast.
There's a lesson to be learned in all of this.
Oh, Lord, what is the lesson to be learned in all of this?
Listen to every side of an argument before making a conclusion, because they just thought that Whitley slept with Dwayne, and that was not the case. So that is the lesson. And the question I have for everyone is, have you ever got in trouble for someone else's mistakes? I want to know. Was it similar to what happened here with Denise, Whitley, and Dwayne? Let me know using the hashtag #ThosWhoCan'tTutor. And we will end this podcast with Stevie Wonder, the song Skeletons, because this is during the time where Whitley comes down from the pit, and her entrance made it so much better with that song on. So I wanted to end the podcast with that song. And the next episode is episode 82, The Cosby Show, Season 4, Episode 5, Shakespeare.